sure I've sprayed not only her hand and thumb, but her wrist, because this is what I'm going to anchor to, okay? So I'm going to take my coverall, and I need to make sure that my CMC joint, so this is a good time to put like little marks on the hand. Where does she have pain? Is it at the CMC? Is it above it? Is it just medial? Is it just lateral? Be specific, because wherever she tells me it hurts is where I'm going to make sure that I cross the joint. Okay, so if she tells me, yep, I can't, it hurts right there, and it's when I do that, I'm going to keep her in a loose packed position. Don't get her to her end range. Keep her out of it and cross the joint where she needs it. I'm going to use a few of these in order to make sure that I have covered the entire area that she needs. Okay? So again, I'm not going to go onto her hand necessarily. Okay, I'm just going to angle. See how I just angled that up to kind of capture a little bit higher on the joint, right? That's why I love coverall. You can make it, it's very flexible and loose, so you can get around these tight angles. If she's really narrow, you see how that's wrinkling, just rolling a little bit? She needs slightly narrow pieces so that that doesn't happen. Okay, so bigger thumb, you can make it a little bit bigger. All right, so again, if she comes up here and she's like, yeah, that still bugs me on that part of my thumb, I'm going to stabilize it. But typically it's like right in that CMC joint, right? So if I think I need to, I'll go like this. Again, I anchor down. Now I'm coming just ever so slightly up onto the thumb to capture that height, because she told me that that hurt as well. Okay? So here's our base, and then we just do this with brown. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that my brown strips, number one, are long enough, number two, are thin enough for her hand. Okay. Again, I will anchor and start crossing right where she told me to go, right where I know that that joint line is. I put a little tension. I can, if I had some length, I could do that if I needed to. Okay. Too big for you. Making sense?
Some tension, you mean like 50%? Like
say again?
Some tension.
Some tension. Pulling all the way around, tension. But not, you know, compressing here that I'm going to cut that circulation off, right? Okay. So we just got to block the joint, right? I don't want her to be able to go at her end range here or end range there, because that's going to stress the joint capsule, and that's what she's going to say hurts, okay? So again, I'm just going to find where I'm going to cross that joint, come just up, she stays relaxed, I go around her. I can wrap if I want, and I don't have to if I choose not, okay? If I need one more, I go down a little bit more distally, and I just cross there. So I cover the whole area where the CMC joint is. Make sense? And then she should be pretty blocked. She's not going to be able to get to that end range. And then what I'll do, can I have a pre-wrap? You can do either, oh here, I cut this. Sorry. So you can do a pre-wrap, or I can anchor this back down. Flip your wrist, other way. Yep. I can anchor all that back down, and now I can just solidify her. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I won't go onto the thumb though with any of this. I'm just going to stay right there. Just give that wrist a little support. You know the tendons are there. If she still is moving into her end range, I did not pull with enough tension. I did not put her in enough closed pack, and I did not really pull and lay it down. Does that make sense? That's where you get the blocking, is by creating the tension there. So traditional, and you can probably attest to this, traditional ATCs will do this. Hold your thumb up, hold your thumb up, hold your thumb up, hold your thumb up. Okay? Okay. Where does it hurt?
An extension.
When her thumb is up. what the heck am I blocking? Okay? So we had to change this tape because this didn't work. Because I'm like pushing, the joint's sprained. You can't ask the person to hold them up here. And then what they'll do is they'll do this. I don't even like this. They'll pull it like back. Like, what is that doing, right? Do you see that? So that's not the way I like to do this tape. I like to be more meticulous and create the amount of support that I need. A tennis player or a golf player can grip their racket with this. This will be okay for them to grip.